Welcome to Haunt Weekly. Hello, everyone. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And this is Haunt Weekly, a weekly podcast for the haunted attraction haunted entertainment community. Whether you're an actor, owner, or just plain aficionado, we aim to be a podcast for you. And we come to you live this 4th of July, literally. You may be
when we're
hearing
recording, yeah.
fireworks go off in the background because we are literally recording kind of in the evening of the 4th of July. So if there's a random pop, it's not because your speaker is about to die. It's because of when we recorded. But we thank you very much for joining us. Whether you're catching us live on Sunday or catching us on the recorded version the day after, we're grateful to have you joining us here. On that note, like I said before, this is Haunt Weekly. Catch us at hauntweekly.com, Haunt Weekly on Twitter, Haunt Weekly on Facebook. YouTube.com/Haunt Weekly is the YouTube channel. All the previous episodes are there for easy access. We're on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. And Sundays at 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Central. That is when you can catch us live. Facebook.com/Haunt Weekly. Join us. We're usually doing it live.
Yeah, 8 p.m. Central.
8 p.m. Central. I said 8 p.m. Central.
You said 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Central.
Yeah, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Sorry.
It's okay.
Anyways, that is when you can join us live. Oh my goodness, we have people in the chat. I am deeply surprised.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you both Tim and Derek for joining us, and anyone else that happens to be eavesdropping in.
And Elliot and Ellie.
And Daniel and Ellie, thank you for joining us. Well, anyways, this is episode 292, which now the math is getting silly complicated, which means it's time to do
the news.
And honestly, it's been a super, super busy news cycle for us, so I'm happy to just dive in. We've also started a new tradition with the news between us, where we are catching up on the news stories beforehand. The only way we know how to catch up on anything at a bar. But it's a good solution for us, and that way we get to make sure both of us are up to date on the stories that are relevant. So yes, thank you all for dropping in on us. Now that said, since we do have an audience, much to my surprise, we do have a question of the week.
We do.
And Crystal, what is the question of the week this week?
What's the shadiest thing you've seen at a haunt?
Ooh, yeah. I'm expecting some stuff this week on this one. I'll tell you, and once again with this one, well, not once again, for the first time, please do not name the haunt. We are not the place to report your stuff to. If you have like seriously shady stuff to report, please take that to the proper authorities.
Yeah.
This is for the stuff that you didn't want to report and aren't going to put anywhere on like an official document, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, the shadiest thing I've seen at a haunt, personally, is I worked the ticket booth one night, and I saw the co-owner, the quote-unquote silent partner of the haunt, come in and find the lockbox with the money, which I had been meticulously keeping and ethically keeping, reach in and grab a fistful of money and leave, claiming that was his half and that was it.
Yeah.
And there was no tracking. I had a tally of the visitors. I knew how much money I had dispensed or how much money I had received.
Yeah.
I have no idea what he took. To this day, I have no idea if he took the correct amount. That was some shady stuff.
Yeah.
Crystal, your shadiest thing.
Well, I think any of the unsafe haunts that we talked about, those practices are pretty bad. You know, using loud noises inside of a small metal room comes to mind as the fireworks are popping off outside.
The individual that fell off the bridge in a haunt.
Yeah.
We have seen some stuff in haunts where it's like...
And we've covered them.
We covered them. We actually talked about it before, but we've seen stuff in a haunt where it's like, if anybody actually took the time to look at this from a safety standpoint, like, you know, a fire marshal might have, that haunt would have been shut down and yeeted pretty much straight to the sun. But didn't happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what is the shadiest thing you've seen at a haunt? We'll be keeping an eye open for your answers as we do this, because it comes up in the very first story. Oh, man, we start off with a bang this week, don't we? So anyways, I'll take the first one this week. Headline reads, owner of haunted house equipment supplier pleads guilty to tax crimes.
Yeah.
So many jokes about to come up, but this is from the Justice Department. Not actually kidding.
No.
It's a press release from the Justice Department. And David Fockman, I never actually thought how to say his name.
We'll just leave it like that.
Yeah, Fockman, because anything I do is going to get way worse than that.
Exactly.
59 of New Albany, Ohio, has pleaded guilty in the U.S. District Court to one count of willful failure to pay overtax to the International Revenue Service. Basically, since 1998, Bachman owned and operated the Scare Factory, a name that is not unfamiliar to our listeners, I am pretty sure. It is both a haunted attraction and a haunted house supplier. They were a haunted house and special effects supplier in Columbus, Ohio. From 2015 to 2018, they collected employment taxes in a trust fund and just didn't pay them to the IRS.
Yeah. Which is insane. If you're going to collect them, at least turn them over.
And basically, in total, Fogman failed to pay over employee and federal employment taxes totaling $547,000 and change. So over $500,000. Well north of $500,000. And this is a crime that the willful failure to pay of a tax carries a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. So, yeah, this one. I mean, where do I go with this? What does the haunt industry and the IRS have in common? They're both wondering where their money from Scare Factory is.
Yeah.
How do you spell Schadenfreude in the haunt industry? SCAREFACTORY. Because the Scare Factory has earned a reputation for taking money for props and builds and then not delivering.
Yeah.
And it's bad because this is a recent reputation.
It is. Probably since around 2015. So.
Yeah, they've been in operation since 1998, and most of that time, they've been in good standing with both the IRS and the haunt community.
Yeah.
They earned a reputation early on for building high-quality props and selling them at reasonable prices, but something changed in recent years, and you can go on any of the haunter groups and find tons and tons and tons of posts about, hey, did you get your Scare Factory prop yet? No.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it honestly is like, if you'd asked the haunt community who they would have expected this to happen to, I think Scare Factory would have been number one.
It would have been up there at least, yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, this story is nuts, and realistically, it's the part that's crazy to me is like you said, they withheld the taxes,
right?
Just never paid the taxes. So what this means, if you were an employee of Scare Factory, you had this deducted from your check.
Yeah.
You were not paid this amount. It's not like
Correct.
You got the money.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like when an employer deducts taxes from your check, there's two sets of taxes. There's the taxes the employer is responsible for, and there's the taxes that you personally are responsible for.
Mm-hmm.
And they apparently paid the employee responsibility taxes, but not the employer responsible paid taxes. Right,
and this may come back and bite some employees way down the road whenever they get ready to use their Social Security.
Yeah.
Because
to be clear, this isn't like the employees now have to pay these taxes.
No.
It's not that, because these were employer-owned pay taxes.
Right.
But as you were noting,
yeah, the pool that they were going into for themselves for future retirement purposes is now less than what it should be.
What they might expect. So, and this actually was a thing that came up a lot in New Orleans during Katrina.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people here found that they thought they were paying into SSI, disability, and these disaster-related taxes, and then they go to apply for those services because, a fucking hurricane hit the city and everything flooded.
Yeah.
And suddenly, oh, wait, I'm sorry, you haven't been paying into those taxes even though you thought you were.
Yeah.
We might know a few people that actually happened to. So that's the type of... It's not the employees that owe this tax now. It's just if they go to try and claim these
benefits.
These benefits later, they might find that it's not there.
Yeah. All right. Our next story.
So just here's hoping that real fast that the employees are not bit too bad by this.
Yeah,
And that,
hopefully not.
honestly, that the employer, in this case David Falkman, pays it up and everything is settled and square. And frankly, just I'm hoping that everyone is made whole here and no one's left stranded.
Yeah.
Because that would really suck.
It would.
Yeah. But that's
Okay.
been the big gossip this week in haunt groups.
It has. Yeah, it's
This was
been
like
everywhere.
The pipe organ last month, that flaming pipe organ from last month. This has been everywhere over the past few weeks. So here's hoping that everyone comes out of it okay and is fine, and that David Falkman pays what he actually owes.
Yeah.
That'd be the best outcome, let's be honest.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
That seems reasonable. All right. The next story is this Eldon Fire Department haunted house was devastated by flooding. So this is in Eldon, Iowa, and there was a flash flood that damaged dozens of homes and flooded City Hall. And the thing about City Hall is the basement is where the haunted house was put on, and it completely flooded. It ruined all of the props and the decorations, costumes, everything's gone. And that haunted house was what they used to fund the fire department.
Yeah, this is a very small town.
Yeah.
And as you might imagine, they use the funds from this haunted house every year to basically fund the fire department.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all the stuff is gone now. They had set up all up in the basement of the haunted of the city hall.
Right.
Flash flood hit. Basements do what they are wont to do.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's gone. So now they are stranded trying to find both, maybe a new source of income or a way to replace the stuff so they can put the haunted house on.
Yeah, exactly. And this is from July 1st. So this is very recent. I don't see anything where there's like a GoFundMe or something to help them out. But yeah, it's just
the article
it's a bad
is by
situation.
KTVO.com, and it's like you said, it's a bad situation.
Yeah.
You're completely right. It's a bad situation. Hoping that they're able to rebound and put on a kick-ass show this year and get the funding that they need.
Yeah.
I had not heard of a fire department actually using a haunted house as one of their primary sources of funding.
Yeah.
Like we've been to the Lafitte fire departments a few times, and they use it to fund scholarships and various other activities in the community.
Exactly.
But it's not the primary source of funding. But it's a small town in Iowa. It doesn't necessarily surprise me that they do this.
Yeah. Yeah, it at least went to support them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So here's hoping good things for you guys in the future. All right, next story. Midwest Haunters Convention comes to Milwaukee. This is one of those times where we are reporting this from ShepherdExpress.com.
Yeah.
But the news article doesn't actually tell what we're going to discuss. What we're going to discuss comes from friends and other posts.
Well, we'll go into a little bit.
We'll get there, yeah. But basically, a Midwest Haunters Convention this year moved to Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the largest gathering in its comfort, not in of its kind of the haunt industry, not to require guests to be in the haunt industry.
Yeah, which I did not realize that MHC
was the largest in that category, because we knew that Trans World required people to be either press or to be in the haunt industry one way or the other.
Yeah.
You had to have the LLC or you had to be press. Like we could go as a press, but we can't go as LLC because we're home haunters.
Right.
And we don't have the LLC side of it.
Yeah.
But regardless, it's the largest gathering of its kind. It doesn't require guests to be in the haunt industry. They had 3 haunted house visits, and they got to bring kids to. Oh, good God!
Sketchy's Freaky Fun House. Why the fuck would you name it Sketchy's if it's a thing for kids?
I totally lost the plot. I'm sorry. We discussed this repeatedly over the course of the day.
Yeah.
And I still saw it like, Jesus, Murphy.
Yeah.
Yeah, your kid's haunt is named Sketchy's Freaky Fun.
With Sketchy the Clown. I mean, that just screams trouble to me. I would not bring my kid there.
No, but anyways, that was the attraction you brought the kids to.
Yeah.
And
yeah, and so we've seen a lot of stories come out of the convention this year.
Yeah, it seems like it was quite an eventful year, does it not?
It does, and some of it went off without a hitch, but there were a couple of issues outside of the convention itself. This is not something that had happened at the convention or because of the convention.
Yeah,
I want to make that clear.
I do want to emphasize, too, like you said,
we
did not hear anything bad about the convention itself.
Right.
It was the stuff surrounding it that seemed to have issues. One of our friends was shot by a BB gun in a drive-by incident,
Yeah.
which is just knucking fuds.
Yeah, I don't know why you would do that. That seems, well, really stupid and reckless.
Yeah, and,
Um,
and what the hell is going on in Milwaukee that people are wanting to do that?
yeah.
Not enough excitement in Milwaukee?
I I have no idea.
But
But
the far more tragic story comes from Tater and comes from various other people that were staying at the Hilton in Milwaukee,
right.
as they had an incident where someone was shot twice in the lobby of the hotel, and haunters happened to be nearby
Yeah.
and were lending assistance. By the way, and if you're gonna have a medical emergency like that in front of a convention-going group, haunted attraction convention is not a bad one, because you can be reasonably sure there's first responders in that group. It seems
Yeah.
likely, or
Yeah.
people that are at least first aid trained.
Yeah, but they were able to help the person. Apparently, the staff at the hotel was not helpful, so the haunters were able to help the person, get an ambulance there, make sure that the people that they knew that were there for the convention stayed in their rooms.
Yeah, it sounded like the haunters did amazing stuff here.
Yeah.
And I wanted to tip my hat to everyone that was involved in this, other than apparently the Hilton staff. They're apparently a bunch of turd burglars through all this.
Yeah, and they still haven't responded to inquiry. So
No.
not from us, from the people who were involved.
Yeah, we've been following the threads on this pretty closely
Yeah.
to see if the Hilton or anyone there responds. And it sounds like the Hilton was mistrustful of the haunters and mistrustful of the people there. And by the way, if you're mistrustful of outsiders, the hotel industry is not for you.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's what it was or if it was just a poorly run hotel, because
Yeah.
there have been other issues outside of that too that I've seen pop up.
Yeah, but basically, someone was shot twice. The haunters provided assistance and did amazing stuff here. Both, and like you said, making sure this person was okay and got the help that they so desperately needed, and that others in the hotel were safe.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's one of the things I do love about this industry. It's that this incident happens, immediately you have people there trying to help and others staying back to create like a texting tree to keep people in their rooms
Yeah.
while this is going on, so no one else is hurt, because we don't know who did this.
Right.
There were eyewitness accounts, and we thought we knew, but you don't know, and you got to make sure that the hotel is safe before you get people out of the room.
Right. And it does not seem like it was a conference goer either.
it was
This
not a
was
conference
completely
goer.
separate.
It was completely separate from it. It was apparently another incident that was completely separate from the convention. But still, you got to make sure the hotel is safe. You've got to make sure that no one else is in danger,
Yeah.
and that's what our community did, and that's just an amazing thing. And to everyone that contributed in any way in this, thank you.
Yeah.
You represented our industry amazingly well. You did the best that you could, and no matter what the outcome, I've not been able to learn anything additional about the outcome. But no matter what the outcome is, you all represented yourselves and the industry amazingly, and Hilton can go fuck themselves because they did not. How's that?
That sounds reasonable.
Does that sound about right for this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's just I'm reading these stories from Midwest Haunters Convention. All I can think is, God damn, people are not handling getting out well from.
Yeah, being around other people is not normal anymore.
Well, I mean, and I kind of was worried this might happen, that we might go into relative isolation for a year, and some people would just come out feral and have completely forgotten any idea of what it's like to be in and amongst civilization. That seems to have happened. So I guess be careful this year, and that goes to Haunt Season 2. There's a lot of people out there that have been cooped up for a year and have no idea how to be in and amongst others.
Yeah.
And some of that turns dangerous and violent. So please, please, please be careful and be mindful. And do like our community did at this convention. Be ready to step up and handle very, very unusual and dangerous situations with grace and courage, because that's what they did.
Oh.
Kudos to everyone who helped out once again. And fuck the Hilton, because they were apparently a bag of dicks.
Yeah.
By all accounts, they were a deep bag of dicks. A deep, big, huge Santa sack of dicks is what they were.
Okay.
Okay, that's about all. Anyways, moving on. Let's move on to happier news.
Yeah.
This is a
So
happy story.
it is, and the headline's
It's
a little
misleading.
misleading.
Yeah.
So, but we'll clear it up. So the headline reads: Lumber prices dived more than 40% in June, biggest monthly drop on record. Now that sounds huge, right?
Yeah.
But this
But
is
yeah, we checked our Home Depot and other people checked theirs and said, what?
yeah,
Yeah.
we're not seeing the same thing, and that's because this is talking about futures.
Yeah, lumber futures
Yeah.
dropped 40% in June. And we don't know, and the article doesn't say if these are 1 month futures or 6 month futures or
Right.
year and the future futures or whatever, because basically with the future you're betting on what the prices will be in a set amount of time.
Yeah.
And in this case, we don't know how far in the future they're betting this drop will happen, but the fact that futures did drop 40% bodes well.
Right. And, people are going on vacation instead of taking on those at home renovation projects. And that's leading to a lot of these, kind of predictions.
And there's also been a drop in mortgages being uptaken because apparently there's a 6.9% drop in mortgages, which
Yeah.
means new home construction is also dropping.
Yeah. New homes rose by 36,000 for the price of a new construction in the past year.
Yeah. And now that new home construction is falling, that's going to balance out too.
Right. Exactly.
Because, like we said, when we did a whole episode about the lumber crisis and
We
what's
did.
going on. And basically what happened is we had a hiccup in supply caused by the initial phase of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
You couple that with lots of renovation and projects being taken on as people renovate their offices and try to make things more ready for their, staying at home, coupled with the fact that new home construction did not stop for some reason.
Right.
Everyone thought that would happen. They thought there would be a dip there for new home construction. Did not happen. So you had new home construction continue to rise or at least plateau. And then you had that project, and then you had the fact there was a dip in supply, and prices went through the roof.
Yeah. And basically, at their peak on May 7th, lumber prices hit an all-time high of $1,670 per 1,000 board feet.
And to put that in some kind of context there, before the pandemic, before all this, lumber was well south of $1,000. I think it was in like the $600 to $700 range.
Yeah.
So it more than doubled. Basically.
700.
Oh, it was? It was 700? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, you're right. There it is. And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, I was getting to
710
it.
square feet. 7 per 1,000 board feet. So, yeah, it went from $710 per 1,000 board feet to $1,670 per 1,000 board feet. And that was caused by, like I said, dip in supply, uptick in demand. Mm-hmm. You know what? I mean, we learned about this in economics. It's supply and demand, but it just is brutal right there.
Yeah, it's still over $70 a sheet of plywood right now, and it's like 45 or 46 for OSB.
Yeah, and
which is just insane. And I checked that earlier today.
Yeah, we're getting ready to start clean out and doing what construction we have to do.
Yep.
And we've already decided there will be no new builds this year because we just cannot afford it at those prices.
Yeah, if we don't have it here, we're not getting it.
If we don't have it here, we got luckily a very good scrap lumber supply. We probably have enough 2x4s and odds and ends to get us through things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, if we don't have it, we're not buying it right now. That's pretty much the way it is. And hopefully, though, by this time next year, we'll be able to do new builds because, yeah, we're lucky. We've got a haunt that is built.
Yeah.
Nobody has seen outside of HauntCon.
Yeah.
So we're pretty much ready other than needing to clean out and rearrange. We're in a good place. But yeah, if you're a haunt doing construction this year, if you open in 2020 and are looking to do new things in 2021, I don't have comforting words because these are lumber futures. And who knows when those prices may actually show up at Home Depot, because that's the thing. That relates to the future prices of warehouse level lumber,
Right.
not retail.
Yeah.
That's got to trickle down to retail prices before most of us even see it. So, good luck, guys. That's all I'm saying. All right. Oh, yeah. Sad news coming up, though, next, as we talk about House of Horrors and Haunted Catacombs. had one last final scare June 25th and 26th. They are in Chicotagua, New York. They're just outside of Buffalo. They're just east of Buffalo. And this article is by WIVB. .com. But basically, this haunt here was a year-round haunt. It was operating pretty much 365. They had their final weekend, June 25th and 26th, as they decided to close down after they were unable to renew their lease with their landlord.
Yeah. Yeah, and
go ahead.
And Bunch says that Bunch is the owner, and he said that they've got 55 to 60 semi-trailer loads of sets, props, and decor that they're trying to move. They're taking beds right now.
Yeah, they
on
said
all that
it's
stuff.
pretty much impossible for them to move it and set up and meet all of the requirements for fire code and so forth before the Halloween season this year. So they don't really see a way to make it happen. They're just looking to sell everything off. So if you're in the area, they said they are looking for good homes for this. They want other people to get scared by this stuff. They have good stuff that they want other haunts to have access to.
Yeah, and then they've donated, quote, a scary amount of money to the Children's Charity of Buffalo and WNY over the years, because that's something that was close to the owner's heart. So if you are a haunt that would also consider donating a partial proceeds, I'm sure that you could work something out with them too.
Yeah. This is it's a frustrating story, and my question is, why on earth would the landlord / property owner be mucking around with the lease now? Now is a terrible time to be kicking out tenants. And
yeah, well, and they've been there for years. This is not a new haunt.
Yeah, apparently they've been there for like 20 years.
Yeah,
like a long time.
Yeah, so I don't understand why.
You've got a good thing going with this tenant. I'm assuming they've had regular but reasonable rent increases. Why screw with them now? Why change it now when this is going to be we're expecting an economic downturn. There's going to be challenges upcoming in the next few years. Why kick them out now? It just doesn't make any sense. This isn't the time to be punting people out and hoping you can fill the space.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any goddamn sense to me.
Yeah.
It's frustrating. And honestly, like I was telling you earlier, I've got an episode I want to do, but I haven't done it yet because it requires so much research about how to create a 25-year haunt. And I wanted to look at haunts that had celebrated their 25th, 30th, and 35th anniversary and so forth, and find the common factors they had. And I've done some preliminary research on that. Not enough to do the episode, but one of the things I found immediately was long-running haunts own their land. They own the property they're on. They own it outright.
Yeah.
And that's because a landlord can just decide, hey, we're going to screw with the haunt we have as that lease with us. And that's what seems to be what happened here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for them. I hope that they're able to find happy haunting elsewhere, even if it's not with their own haunt.
No. Okay. So next story comes from Orlando Weekly. This is some HHN news, so Halloween and Horror Nights. They, after taking off last year, they're going to do a brand new pop-up experience for the resort. This one is centered around Jack the Clown Schmidt. Jacked Up is the name of the celebration, which is kind of fun.
For that. That was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, but he's one of the original creations for Halloween and Horror Nights. And so you'll go through vignettes of his performances throughout the year that he's been part of the experience.
Yeah.
So that sounds like a lot of fun, and it's interesting that they're choosing to focus on their original creations for Halloween and Horror Nights instead of, the Universal Monster Library that they have.
Yeah, they literally have the largest library of monsters and horror villains you can fathom. And they're choosing to focus on a character that's original and unique to HHN. Which I think, I've said it before, that when I see a Freddy or I see a Beetlejuice, because Beetlejuice is one of the haunts this year, so I'm throwing that out as an example. When you see that, it takes me personally out of it for a minute, because That's a fictional character. I don't have to be scared of them. I only need to be scared of what I know is quote unquote real.
Yeah.
And that's not that. So I get why they might want to focus on that, but at the same time, if you've got the library, you got the marketing material, why not go for it? I understand both directions on that one.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to see them pushing something that has not been seen elsewhere.
Yeah.
And it does make me a little more excited. Because I personally, if I were going to HHN, I would want to see the stuff I can't see in a film, or you know what I mean, or I can't see on my TV screen.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I would be first in line.
Yeah, exactly. And, it makes me wonder if they're going to try to do some kind of movie with Jack in the next coming years.
You know, that wouldn't surprise me. That would be interesting to see a character from HHN go to the movies rather than the other way around.
Exactly.
That'd be cool. You know what? I'll say, Universal, if by some chance you are listening to this podcast, God help you if you are, but if you are listening, I'm down for that. I'm going on record as saying I will buy a ticket, and I have gone on record previously on this podcast and elsewhere saying I'm not comfortable going to movies right now. I will be comfortable going to that movie. I will go to that movie.
Yeah.
I will buy a ticket. I will go see that in theaters live as an opening weekend. And I never do that even before COVID.
Yeah, that is
I
true.
will do that in this case. Because that just sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, here's some more good haunt news going on. Scholarship. TST. Okay, it's TSTF. I'm just messing with you. Is a TSTF scholarship. This is from the reviewonline.com. But Dylan Jeck, Crystalline Moore, and Sean Underwood, all from East Liverpool High School in Ohio, are the first recipients of the TSTF Scholarship Award. This was founded by Christopher Pritt. I think that's Dwayne or Dawn Benrick and Deborah Smith. It's basically funded by the Hidden Haunted Attraction, which is a haunted house in the area. And they've created a scholarship where seniors submit a 300 to 500 word essay or a 5-minute video for a chance to win the scholarship. And those were the first 3 recipients. And this is because apparently the Hidden Haunted Attraction, due to COVID and due to the fact they were able to open this year, had a gangbuster year and decided to spend some of the extra money on a scholarship for local high schoolers.
Yeah, so that's really cool. And the video or essay had to be on how they had impacted their community through volunteerism. So these are volunteer kids that go out and help build up their community. So the haunt wanted to give back to the kids that were doing that. And that's a great way to build that community. Like we say, it's always important to have a good relationship with your local community. And for those of you wondering what TSTF stands for,
yeah, I am. I'm wondering.
Tri-State Trillium Foundation.
Yeah, that wasn't in the notes, and I don't know how we didn't catch that when we were going through things. But yeah, Tri-State Trillium Foundation?
Yes, there's a reason they use the acronym.
Yeah, I'm still wondering what the hell it means, actually. That didn't help me understand a goddamn thing about it.
Not at all.
No, I understand even less, actually. Somehow, the acronym being spelled out helped me understand it less. But nonetheless, congratulations to those 3 high school students in the scholarship, and good job on the Hidden Haunted Attraction for having a positive impact on your community. And this is the thing, they're not a huge attraction.
No. Yeah.
They mentioned their numbers. They're not a huge attraction. But here they are getting great press, getting great coverage for doing an awesome thing in their community. And this is the type of thing I think all haunts should be doing, frankly, because A, you want that positive, like you said, you want that positive relationship with the community. And it might not sound like much, but believe me, when it comes time for those permits, when it comes time for that stuff that you need to open and all that stuff you need to open, it's a big help.
Well, and especially
relationship.
Yeah, and especially in small communities, because then you want people to want to come to you and to support you.
Yeah.
And if you're a productive member of society, then that helps.
And that's one of the things. It's like if you make it so that your relationship with the community is hostile, the community will look for ways to shut you down, whether that's through permitting or something else, or just by not going.
Yeah.
But if you have a good relationship with the community, they will do everything they can to make sure you survive and thrive. Trust me. It is amazing to have a good relationship with your community. All right.
Okay.
Well, this next one is actually a video by Fox 32 Chicago,
Yeah.
and we just had to give a shout out to one of our favorite haunters and one of our favorite people in the haunt community. The title is "Lockport brings charm and eccentric entertainment to the southwest suburbs," but really it's all about Hell's Gate and John LaFlamboy.
It is. It's like a 12-minute video. The first 8 are spent interviewing and going through Hell's Gate.
Oh, it's an
So-
awesome video.
It
And
is.
It's so great to see John getting more great more great PR in his local area too. This is awesome.
Yeah, and they intermix the promo videos from the season with live shots, including some actors that came out on their time off.
Yeah, because you got to remember, Hell's Gate was not open in 2020.
Right.
These are people who, had not been haunting in the past year, coming out and helping support here. It's just great. So yeah, definitely, this is one of the ones we're just kicking it to you. The link will be in the show notes. We'll mention this. Fox32Chicago.com is where it is. Check it out. It's awesome to see our industry present it so well.
Okay. Next up, something that we kind of talked about recently.
Yeah, we did not mention this specifically,
Yeah.
but in a moment of, well, duh, that makes sense when you think about it that way.
Well, I thought about it, but
Yeah,
I didn't
go.
want to
Then
include
tell
it. But
the people the story. Tell the
Goal
people.
Runnings Haunted Hydro co-owner has opened up a kayaking company, and this is on the land of the haunt. Basically, the state demolished a dam which increased the water flow to a nearby river. I think it's called the Sandusky, and this is in Ohio. And Beth Turner took advantage of it when it opened. And she and her daughter and members of the Hydro Haunt cast would go kayaking down the river, some of them in full costume, which sounds awesome.
Yeah, there's no video of that, unfortunately. I really want to see that, but
Yeah. Yeah, but since the water levels and the flow are better, they're going to try to make this a side hustle throughout the year, or at least the warm months, because it
Yeah,
is Ohio.
yeah, and we talked about this or things related to this in 289. We did a whole episode about year-round revenue for outdoor haunts because we were thinking
Right.
about interesting and unique ways haunted attractions can exploit their land and their property year-round. It never occurred to us when we were doing that, though. What if you have a nice big river going through it?
Well, we talked about if you had natural bodies of
yeah.
water, then you would have other options that you could also include, but that we weren't talking about them then. But yeah, this is a great thing. They're starting out small, just a couple of weekends, but they've got plans to make it a full-blown, space for
Yeah.
kayakers and canoers to come.
Yeah, and it's such a simple idea. Ultimately, you get kayaks, you rent out kayaks,
Yeah.
and you open a concession stand and other necessities on site.
Yeah, well, you do have to have trained people so that if somebody wants a guided tour, they can do it. And that's kind of where the direction they're going is that
Yeah.
they're going to train guides on the environment, on the history of the river and things like that, and be able to take them out in groups and like be educational as well as just being on the water.
Well, and the part I think that is brilliant about this is the starting small aspect of it.
Yeah.
It's 2021. We're still getting used to getting out there and doing things again. And so there's that element of it. But also, their cost they're inputting into this right now is low because all
Right.
they're doing is buying kayaks, have a few experienced staff on hand, and doing it for a few weekends per year. This is a dipping the toe in it, but it's setting it up so that if they want to grow this and if there is the interest in growing it, this can become a big, big part of their annual revenue.
Yeah.
And become an attraction on par, if not bigger, than the haunted attraction.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would love to be able to rent a historical guide that's in a monster costume to take me down the river.
Yeah,
I
can
think
definitely
that's
see
awesome.
I can definitely see some opportunities for synergy here, if you
Yeah.
will, where they exploit the fact they have access to haunted attraction stuff,
Yeah.
and combine that with that. I've never been kayaking in my life.
Yeah.
I've been inner tubing once. I've never been kayaking though.
I've been in canoes and small boats.
Yeah, I've never. So I don't know how well I would do with it, honestly, but that is just an awesome idea and his place. So just consider this story an addendum to what we were talking about in 289. because this is a great idea, and I wish we had thought of it first, kind of thing. But we didn't think, but we've not seen this story until literally like yesterday or today. We were finishing compiling show notes. So awesome work, awesome idea. I really do wish them well. A lot of stories from Ohio this week, I'm realizing.
Yeah, I know.
That's because Ohio has so many haunts, so it's kind of always a thing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And our final news story this week deals with Disney.
Mm-hmm.
And basically it's that signs point to a possible return of the Haunted Mansion holiday. This article is from InsideTheMagic.com. InsideTheMagic.net. And basically, things are starting to return more and more to normal at Disney World and Disneyland. And basically, vaccinated guests are allowed to walk around the park without a mask. Capacity is increasing to near pre-COVID levels.
Mm-hmm.
But there are signs that the Haunted Mansion is going to do its traditional thing where it was shut down for a bit in August.
Yeah.
So they could do a custom show for Halloween and probably through Christmas, too, through the holidays, basically.
Yeah, it's basically Nightmare Before Christmas takeover of the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, the Pumpkin King Jack Skellington decorates the Haunted Mansion, and there's basically a bunch of festive touches for it. And they do the Nightmare Before Christmas, because that way it works both Halloween and Christmas.
Exactly.
Which, I mean, people are like, is the Nightmare Before Christmas a Christmas movie or a Halloween movie? And I always say, yes. Yes is the only correct answer to that. Because it is both. This is a very unique and unusual way to experience the Haunted Mansion. It's not the traditional way to go through it. And you'll see some of your seasonal surprises, including characters representing Sally, Oogie Boogie, the Nightmare Nasties, and others from the movie. Now, the thing is, none of this is confirmed.
Right.
We want to temper your expectations a wee little bit here.
Yeah, this barely made it onto the news.
Yeah. And the reason we're covering it is because the blog Inside the Magic, noticed a shutdown of the Haunted Mansion upcoming in August.
Right.
That is in line with what they have done in previous years to prepare for this show.
Exactly. So they shut down mid-August, reopened early September with, Jack and everybody.
All this new stuff. And I honestly, if I'm a betting man, and I'm not, but if I were a betting man, I would think that they're right and that this is happening. It makes perfect sense because they've done this in pre-COVID years. Why not do it now as a big welcome back to the park thing?
Yeah.
Here you go. Here's your special thing for the Haunted Mansion. It makes perfect sense. It makes too much sense for me not to believe it will happen.
Exactly.
So yes, it is not confirmed. They have not released a statement about it. No one has said whether or not this will happen in any kind of official capacity, but the pattern fits, so it seems very likely it will.
Yes.
So basically, don't book your ticket in September or October expecting this until a formal announcement, but be on the lookout.
Yeah.
How's that? That reasonable?
That sounds reasonable.
That sounds very, very reasonable. Well, that is all the news we have this week. And like I said, news weeks sometimes go a little short, and that's how it be, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. But we do have to revisit the question of the week. I know we have one interesting answer.
We have a couple of answers.
Yeah.
So Derek Muehlberger said he saw an actor get the okay to use a real meat cleaver and responded with, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, we have actually seen a haunt that uses real weapons.
Yes.
And prides themselves on it.
Yes, and including knives that are very sharp.
Yeah, it took a nick out of your neck.
Yeah, that was not fun.
That was not fun.
Oh.
So, yeah, kids, don't use real weapons. And
No.
Look, I'm going to be honest here. I guess if I were going to say about the real sketchiest thing I'd seen in a haunt, it would be the entirety of our first run as haunt actors and that haunt in South Carolina we were at, because there was so much sketchy going on there.
There were a lot of things that were not done correctly. Yeah.
I mean, they hired actors that should not be acting and should not be anywhere near
and
kids,
gave them
the
real
public,
weapons.
human beings in general, animals, life itself. They should not be near anything.
Yeah, and then Ellie also responded with a haunt run by first responders who threatened to call the police for breaking rules and then try to push people to break the rules.
Yeah, and I know the exact haunt she's talking about. Once again, we're not mentioning haunt names here.
Right.
We've talked about it a little bit before, so you can go through the archives and find it pretty
Yeah.
easily. But I know the haunt she's talking about. Basically, yeah, this was a haunt. We went to it. It was in a very rural location, and they gave us the whole spiel about if you touch the actors, if you touch our stuff, we will call the police. They'll be here in a heartbeat. They'll be here lickety split, and we'll take you to jail and all this. And so you're going through the haunt like with your hands like like this. You know what I mean? Trying not to touch things and try not. And then they literally try to bait you into it. And that was bad enough. But then we get home and we find out doing a little research.
Mm-hmm.
This haunt was put on by the local police department.
Yeah. Yeah, so the cops are already there. But she also just reminded me of the performance piece haunt in downtown NOLA.
Mm-hmm.
Remember?
Oh, God.
That had some interesting things.
Yeah, I am not opposed to nudity or sex or things like that in general. I was not expecting it, and I was not prepared for it. And
well, and it was also, not only was it, things like that didn't really have anything to do with being scary, but it was also, they had the dogs, the live animals
and
that did not seem to be that they were treating them well.
No, I mean, they may have been, and it was just a perception, but we did not feel that they were. But the other crazy thing about it was, you and I are walking through this haunt with our friend. We took our friend with us, and it's fire code violations everywhere. Like, literally, I'm like, that's a problem, slipping for that. I'm like doing the fire marshal's job for them.
Yeah, they were shut down really fast.
Yeah, we went there.
Yes, that was shady enough. They were shut down.
We went there first or second
That's a
week
good
and they
one.
were open. I can't remember which it was. They were supposed to have a 6-week run.
I think the first week.
They were supposed to have like a 6-week run, though. This was like September when we went. And we tried to look them up the next weekend just to see what was going on, to see if they were there.
Yeah.
And they were not.
Yeah, because they did have a separate show during the day for kids, and we were kind of curious, well, what was that? How could they tone that down?
Yeah,
and
we
where
not going.
Yeah, where kids could like actually enjoy it and stuff, because there was no way that kids should be at the night one.
That was it was a thing. It was a whole thing.
Mm-hmm. No.
Well, on that note, everyone, please, if you have not done so, leave your answers to the question of the week, and I'm sure we're going to get some interesting ones in this one. I'm kind of excited about this. We may have to do a follow-up next week, because I got to come up with some good stuff on this one. Take a moment, though. Leave your answers to the question of the week at hauntweekly.com. You can use the contact form there. Haunt Weekly at Twitter. Just DM it to us or put us in an @ reply. It's fine. Haunt Weekly at Facebook. Message us there. Leave a comment on this this episode's post. You can also catch us at youtube.com/hauntweekly. You can leave a comment there as well. We get emails about those. Basically, any way you can leave a comment, do so. We will see it. May not see it immediately, but we will see it. I promise you. You can also find us at Google Play, iTunes, and Stitcher, anywhere your podcasts are sold. And please consider joining us every Friday, 8 p.m.
Sunday.
Damn it! And that's just it. I keep telling myself, don't say Friday, and then I say Friday, because now I'm psyching myself out. Every Sunday, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, Facebook.com/HauntWeekly. We do these episodes live. Join us, be a part of the chat, be a part of the show. But until next time, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And we will see you all next week with... I don't know what. We actually haven't talked much about next week's episode, but we'll see you all then.